It just occurred once more. The widely renowned genre-bending project GNX by Kendrick Lamar has just accomplished the seemingly impossible, re-entering the top 10 on Apple Music in Germany and completely outperforming Drake. Take a moment to process that. And an album that came out months ago without any promotion from a major label. Radio-friendly songs or ostentatious advertising campaigns. The artist it dethroned has made a comeback to one of Europe's most competitive charts. In less than TRR's Drake, the streaming king and self-described worldwide superstar, not only climbed but also soared from Jinga Arshabat to Jinga Joel. Why? Because there's a storm coming. German supporters declare that they are tired of meaningless luxury. According to TikTok, GNX is the only authentic rap album with a worldwide vibe. Additionally, insiders speculate that a strong live leak from Kendrick's overseas rehearsal that left fans stunned may be the cause of this unexpected spike. Drake remained quiet. Germany came online. Kendrick is revising the rules once more. However, goes beyond the figures. The European takeover is only getting started. Keep an eye out since the recent events in Germany could serve as a warning to the rest of the world to change the society. Kendrick Lamar didn't need a successful song. He didn't require interviews, billboards, or a dance challenge that went viral. He recently released GNX, a body of work that is still coming apart months later because it is so unpolished, multi-layered, and unpredictable. However, what took place in Germany this week? It was a declaration rather than merely a comeback. Let's go back. Critics criticized GNX for being overly cerebral, deep, and slow-burning when it originally came out. However, Kendrick was fully aware of his actions. The charts weren't his goal. His goal was to leave a legacy. GNX is a slow-building storm of Germanic orchestration, haunting voice memos, cryptic political commentary, and jazz-inspired sounds that he created like a time capsule. The release of the album was also different. There was only one post from PG Lang that said, "For those who still listen, for those who still feel, the fans, they showed up." But the charts, they didn't reflect the album's depth at first. There was no announcement, no rollout, no features, or whatever. Drake, on the other hand, was all over. Playlist covers, streaming charts, and dates of VIP-only European tours with opulent sponsored pop-ups. Drake, in particular, controlled maps. In Germany, champagne seasons. His 2025 release was viewed as a shift toward Europe. Lyrics about fast cars, Paris fashion, and love affairs in Zurich are set to house-infused beats with auto-tuned lines. It worked for months. Drake topped the charts in Hamburg, Berlin, and Kendrick, Cologne, and Munich. Respected but overshadowed by popular gloss, GNX quietly lingered outside the top 20. The shift in BR Lionette. A shaky video from a Berlin underground listening party with a GNX theme surfaced on TikTok. Projector lights in a dark room. Kendrick's weaving an unreleased fur over archways while a lone voice speaks. The video's caption read, "It's not done with us yet." 12 hours with 6 million views. German fans started sharing videos of themselves listening to GNX again. This time with think pieces headline Drake's "Music Plays at You" and Kendrick's "Lives in You" and translated lyric analysis, a la Reddit. Why it took Germany 6 months to understand GNX. Rap is not what is. Resistance is what this is. The number of Spotify streams doubled. Apple Music experienced a 3-day surge. At number 9, just above Drake, GNX had surged 19 spots by day 4. Then the real thing happened, the silent slide T of Drake. 17 weeks in a row, Drake had remained comfortably in the top 10, which was his longest run on the European charts in more than 2 years. According to reports, his crew was getting ready for a live broadcast concert in Berlin to commemorate it. However, those plans fell through when GNX took his place. Just silence, no tweet, no statement. Insiders, however, claimed Drake was unhappy. According to a source close to a major venue promoter in Europe, Drake's camp was caught off guard. They believed that Kendrick's record had become less popular. Nobody witnessed Germany flipping in this way. Even more significant is the fact that on the same day, Apple Music Germany replaced Champagne Seasons with a stark black and white picture of Kendrick. Eyes closed, with the words GNX, The Return. Why Germany superimposed. Matt's Germany is more than just a nation on a map. It's one of the most trend-setting and data-driven music markets in Europe. German charts frequently have an impact on playlists in Eastern Europe, the Nordic markets, and new international rap hotspots like Amsterdam, Prague, and Warsaw. The return of GNX. The industry is keeping a careful eye on this signal flare. Because if Kendrick can unseat Drake in Germany, what happens if he decides to push without a promotion, single, or tour stop? It became evident that this wasn't a coincidence when GNX returned to the top 10 on Apple Music in Germany. Kendrick Lamar was the reluctant leader of a digital uprising that had just begun. Chart games, billboards, or advertisements didn't create the momentum. It was risky because it came from the fans. Days before the GNX chart bump, the covert performance made the difference. A weird video clip appeared on a tiny rap watch. Berlin is an underground German YouTube channel. The title of the video is K. Lamar's rehearsal for GNX. Unknown location, 4K video, no tags, no introduction. It was just Kendrick practicing what appeared to be a totally reworked version of GNX's last song, Colonnade, in a dark warehouse. The album did not include this version. It included a chilling vocal sample from what sounded like a political protest, as well as live saxophones chanting in German. The kicker. Kendrick addresses the camera directly at the conclusion of the rehearsal. He continues, "They always told me Europe loves aesthetics, but now they see the architecture in pain too. Maybe they weren't listening before. Maybe now. They're ready." Bang! That quote was extremely powerful. A dot. The video became viral on Reddit, Telegram, and even political blogs. With captions like "Kendrick didn't market to Germany," TikTok modifications surfaced. He addressed it. Students at German universities began talking about GNX and sociology. Classes within a day. Drake's crew was in a panic as art galleries started showing GNX-inspired images, and an independent Frankfurt bookstore held a sold-out poetry night called Letters from GNX. The Drake RIC. According to insiders, the advertising for the Champagne season had totally disregarded. Germany is in the period of deeper rollout. Drake's attention was on France, Italy, and the United Kingdom. The plan was to deal with Germany passively. They no longer believed Kendrick had heat there. But all of a sudden, they lost their place. Even worse, Kendrick wasn't the only one who topped them. It was alleged that the internal editorial board of Apple Music gave Kendrick priority over several European regions. On Discord, a purportedly authenticated Apple Music Germany employee's Slack chat was released. Real interaction with the Kendrick. Data is higher than plays. Complete homepage rotation. Germany is even requesting access to an interview. The line that drew in the fans, "Drake has numbers." Kendrick's influence is growing rapidly. When two NTOs called, the situation became personal. A music company. According to an unidentified global report, an executive connected to Drake made direct contact with Apple's European curation lead. The dialogue. Are you curious as to what transpired? What made the switch? Why promote an album that is only 6 months old? According to reports, Apple's answer was, "The listeners pushed it, not us." We're following the signal. Tensions were only increased by that. This was the first official in an unexpected counterplay. One of Drake's best-selling songs in Europe, Champagne Moons, was unexpectedly remixed by OVO. A rising Berlin rapper's German verse was featured on the dance remix, which was created by a well-known Dutch house DJ, an accelerated TikTok edit viral. It was an obvious message. Fans quickly referred to it as "We're taking Germany back," one Berlin quote that is reactionary. The music vlogger became well known. Drake is sprinkling a broken mirror with glitter. The truth was already given to us by Kendrick. Chart games are revealed. Then the true twist appeared. Back-end screenshots purportedly demonstrating playlists padding, wherein tracks from the Champagne season were incorporated into more than 200 law-level German playlists, were leaked by a whistleblower from a European DSP digital service provider. The previous 2 weeks, while Kendrick's rise was natural, Drake's streams were artificially bolstered by placements, despite user skips soaring significantly. A popular topic resulted from the leak. Phony seasons and remarks, such as Drake's song that plays everywhere but is cut off in the middle. Once you hear Kendrick's songs, your entire week is changed. Germany made no change. At last, they pay attention. Fans weren't merely rejoicing over a chart victory when Apple Music announced that GNX had surpassed Drake in Germany. Blueprint was being decoded by them. Kendrick wasn't merely increasing his stats. He was putting together a message for the continent. Berlin was merely the initial domino. Silently, the Berlin art blockade began. Berlin's house guests, Durl, The Architecture of Noise, a private after-hours exhibit, was shown at one of the city's most prestigious museums of modern art. Only perhaps 30 people received invitations. Cell phones are not permitted. An unidentified American interdisciplinary artist created the display as a sound installation. By daybreak, however, that was Kendrick's voice. GNX extended that. Someone sneaked in an audio recorder and leaked a blurry voice tape. It featured a 9-minute unreleased composition that combined German field recordings, political chanting, public voices, transport system alarms, and GNX instrumentals. Noise is only disruptive until you listen. Kendrick's voice was eerie and captivating as it whispered halfway through the song. The twist then appeared. He was answered by a deep, melodic voice he recognized. While some of us visit, others dwell in the cacophony. We infuse your chaos with harmony. That voice was immediately recognizable to fans. Joria Smith, YUP. The queen of smooth resistance from the United Kingdom has just stepped into the orbit of GNX. Joria lets out a sound. Joria lets out a sound. With the comment, "What happens in Berlin?" Let the art do the talking. Joria Smith published a fan's analysis of the Berlin leak. Breathe. Suddenly, the UK began to learn about something more profound. Joria didn't co-sign lightly. She had recently released the highly regarded Soldier EP, which tackled post-Brexit identity. She and Kendrick were now working together on GNX territory. This isn't a characteristic, it's a fellowship. Joria grabbed a hammer after observing the architecture. Supporters started referring to her as PG Long, Europe's First Lady. A flyer then surfaced online a few hours following the Berlin audio release. GNX location, Euro broadcast, TBA date, TBA minimalist design, white background, PG Long diamond, 1 symbol, and 2 words. However, it contained a QR code that opened an encrypted countdown. Translation: 17 days, 52 hours, 17 minutes, 0 hours, 9 minutes, and 52 seconds. There was an impending event. Siam Tay is being built by PG Lang, and insiders attested to the flyer's authenticity. The frequency event, working titled GNX, is said to include pre-programmed audio takeovers of train station PA systems across Europe, coordinated flash mob readings of GNX lyrics in 5 capital cities, an unreleased Kendrick Lamar song, and more. A well-placed source at a French creative agency tweeted and then deleted, "We just delivered the first round of assets to Palong. Think less concert and more multi-site sonic protest within a 72-hour period." The Zoria live short film will be shown on public monuments in Berlin, Paris, and Amsterdam. This isn't a tour, is a disturbance. Drake's team attempts to hit Basque. Drake's crew frantically tried to come up with a countermove in the meanwhile. According to leaks, several venues in Paris were discreetly approached about hosting a purported pop-up event, but the majority of them turned it down. The brands want Drake, but at the moment, the streets are talking about Kendrick, a French promoter told a German hip-hop blog. You can't ignore dirt when you used to rap about your roots. Kendrick built a legacy. You booked a layover. It's not luxury. Drake responded by posting a now-deleted Instagram story that showed him relaxing on a yacht in the Mediterranean with the caption, "Let the poets play in the dirt." Fans quickly dragged it. Apple Music Germany updated its Best of Global Hip Hop playlist, and for the first time in over a year, a Kendrick song reached the top spot. Not a new release, not a remix. But the GNX track Colonnade followed immediately by a spoken word narrative piece. Julia Smith, Blue Window, is rumored to have sampled Kendrick's GNX. The backlash was swift and vicious. Interlude, Drake fell to number 11. Followed by Spotify Germany. A day later, he made a new playlist called Noise and Reflection Rap. That moves you cover photo. Kendrick in grayscale. The real curveball came when the shocking EDM game revealed a single terrifying note on the last page of a leaked PG Lang planning doc that was confirmed by several sources. Fans are now speculating that Kendrick's GNX, the frequency event, might just be the beginning of a global rollout plan. One based on physical art, grassroots rebellion, and cultural disruption. This isn't about music. It's about messaging, and Kendrick's message, Legacy Moves, is the test run, not a chart war. GNX Europe is the first trial. The next signal is for America. Noise. The quiet ones are the loudest. By this point, Gang had become more than just a sleeper album that made a resurgence. It was the beating heart of a growing cultural movement throughout Europe. Kendrick Lamar had done the unimaginable. He had transformed a chart resurgence into a full-fledged movement using sonic architecture, wordplay, resistance, and rhythm rather than celebrity selfies or dance challenges. International fan reactions erupted on Reddit and YouTube. But it wasn't just teenagers wearing baggy hoodies, it was also students, activists, and our children. One Berlin-based creator went viral with a brief documentary-style breakdown titled Why GNX Feels Like a Warning, which received over 3.1 million views in a single day. He claimed that Kendrick gave us scars and Drake gave us champagne. Another fan shared a picture of her tattoo, a GNX lyric in German, across her forearm on Twitter with the caption, "This project didn't change the game. One fades in the morning, the other is a remembrance of gums. Ignoring it, it constructed its own." Key on Deck is supported by European media. The mainstream media was unable to overlook it. Kendrick Lamar's GNX was the title of an opinion piece that appeared on the top page of Der Spiegel. London, France dubbed a protest album, Sans, Signs the first post-streaming masterpiece. A positive editorial was published by The Guardian UK. We were given a playlist by Drake. We were given a template by Kendrick. Weeks before your endless were due. Rolling Stone Europe even subtly moved GNX up to number 3 in their list of the year's greatest albums. According to an unnamed Pitchfork Europe editor, everyone anticipated Kendrick too. J.C. Cole finally chimes in. Catch up instead of disappearing after GNX. For your IAs for years, J. Cole posted on posts they slept on. The same was done with GNX. Some music ripens rather than ages. Even though Loud Cole published a playlist called Patience, the post was subtly intended. Kendrick Lamar's Colonnade is the first track. Folding Clothing is the second track. Fans dubbed it the Silent Alliance. The caption said, "Some art isn't supposed to pop, supposed to stay with you. It's not a rap feud." Kendrick Cole Yora. Rap balance is this: the chasing stats of one side and the chasing immobility of the other. the industry begins to shine. Things became serious at that point. Several internal teams were now examining GNX's European performance statistics, according to insiders inside Warner Brothers and Universal Music, comparing paid and organic virality while investigating Kendrick's low volume, big impact approach. Kendrick didn't have a viral moment. A German label executive informed the world's music industry, GX isn't just trending. It's reshaping how we think about international longevity. A live document was created by him. Then came The Turn, a brand new category for awards. According to reports, several award committees, including the Deutsche Music Prize, the Berlin Art Prize, and the European Music Awards, are currently in discussions to establish a new prize classification called Cultural Sound Installation. Music would be recognized by this, in addition to charts and ticket sales. You guessed it, Kendrick Lamar was the first name that was being considered. GNX. GNX defies genre. It engaged architecture, protest, and poetry. It is the first of its kind and demands recognition. A leaked quote from the proposal stated, and PG Lang remains a ceiling while all unfolds. PG Lang has not released any statements, press releases, or social media reposts, only a subtle edit to their website's homepage. Now at the bottom of the page there's a single what charts call noise, we call signal. What Europe calls now, we called months ago. What comes next has no genre, no links, no context, just the storm continuing to build. A signal the world might not be ready for. 5 days, 6 cities. The countdown reached its final hours. Tension was everywhere. Berlin, Paris. The location Expo SDN, anonymous user on Reddit, posting under the name langsignal_93 posted a screenshot of an encrypted email purportedly sent from PG Lang, its internal server. Fans of Amsterdam and London were swarming public areas, watching digital clocks tick towards zero. There were no instructions or artist announcements, just a single whisper across the PG Lang site. Be still, then listen. Subject line, GNX broadcast node Brandenburg Gate. The message contained one more terrifying detail. Full audio-visual stream activated at 9 p.m. C. Duration, 17 minutes. 12 seconds. Brandenburg Gate is Germany's most iconic monument. The location of a historical protest and a place where walls once divided and voices once rose. The broadcast that broke everything to Keshen at precisely 9 p.m. Brandenburg Gate lighting system flickered and cut, and projectors embedded in nearby rooftops activated simultaneously. The crowds were unprepared, uninvited, and frozen. And then there was the sound, not a song, not a performance, but a transmission. The audio format was interlaced with plus-coded vocals, and public visibility was inevitable. Over the next 17 minutes, the gate became a screen for ominous images. Crumbling cathedrals, warped maps, and melting platinum plaques, and behind it all, unreleased GNX vocals. Political samples, crowd noise, and a whisper from Joria Smith. Kendrick's voice slowed, filtered, and haunting. You looked at charts. I looked at cities. You posted playlists. I planted echoes. Now, can you hear it? In his final, desperate move, Drake shared a looping video of himself in a studio nodding to an unreleased song on Instagram, captioning it, "Y'all love signals." Some music isn't intended to be played. It's meant to be remembered. I construct satellites. Don't worry, I'm going to launch. You're bobbing your head in a mood light, bro? Kendrick projected a revolution on a monument. The internet quickly mocked him. Even XXL Mag tweeted, Drake lost Germany and maybe Europe too. This is history. You can't start a broadcast with a preview. GNX Europe. Phase 1 complete. Time stopped at 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. 0 location. The GNX team personnel. The broadcast came to an end. On the gate. Berlin's mayor tweeted, "Tonight we saw art interrupt the city." The aftermath of #GNX Berlin trended #1 worldwide, with concert promoters calling it the most powerful non-performance in music history. Then it all faded, with no merchandise, no tours, no stream links, just silence. It provided everything and asked for nothing. In Germany, Apple Music also made changes to Kendrick's biography. You saw what Kendrick Lamar and PG Long did in Germany. A rollout, not a comeback, not even a concert. Drake was silent, but fans noticed something else on PG Lang's homepage. A new line of text appeared after the broadcast ended, stating that Phase 2 originated in Detroit and the countdown began again. Drake attempted to respond with luxury, volume, and status, but Kendrick arrived with silence and forced the entire continent to listen. Now we have questions for you. Was the beginning of a new global chapter in rap history? That was cultural warfare cloaked in art. There was no streaming party, no interviews, no hashtags begging for attention, just impact. Let us know in the comments where you stand in this cultural clash. Are you riding with satellites and soft launches, or are you tuned into the frequency? Don't just watch from the Did Kendrick just demonstrate that the world is hungry for meaning over metrics? And with Phase 2 now pointing to Detroit, are we about to see GNX erupt on American soil? If Berlin taught us anything, it's that isn't just about who's streaming, it's about who's listening. So click that bell, because Phase 2 is quickly approaching, deeper than any playlist. Subscribe for every update as GNX prepares for its next signal strike. And Kendrick.